You're listening to Hashtag Impact, a podcast about stuff that matters. I am Regina Larco, your host, and in this season 4 of Hashtag Impact, we revisit some of the most inspirational founders that we have crossed paths with ever since we started this show. There's another thing that's really special about season 4. If you've been following our journey, you will know that this time, for the first time, in the Hashtag Impact history, we have teamed up with a charity beneficiary. And what that means is that we want to give them a platform where they can share stories of impact from their community. We teamed up with Kelly Support Group. I'm absolutely in love and in awe for what they do, empowering young people to reach their full potential. And as you will listen in to this episode, as Executive Director Sky Siu is taking the microphone, sitting down with Ernest Chang, you will also get a feeling for what makes their work so special and how it can impact people that that cross their path while they are on this amazing journey to bring a lot of support to young people. If you want to join our vision of getting more voices heard, I'd love for you to join us at Hashtag Impact Club. I dreamed this up a couple of, now it's been almost a year, I think, that I first thought about it. And it's really a super, super nice community where I'm sharing more bonus content that you don't hear anywhere else. Bonus clips from the guests that I've been featuring this season, but also there are lots of goodies that you can win. It's a gorgeous community, and while you are supporting our vision, joining Hashtag Impact Club, 10% of your members' fee also goes directly to Kelly Support Group. So check that one out at hashtagimpact.com/club. And now enjoy this week's episode with our wonderful co-host, Sky Siu.
I'm here in the Stalery Wan Chai, and it's this really cool studio in the heart of Wan Chai, right next to the Blue House. And I'm sitting here right now with Ernest. Ernest, what's your last name?
Chang.
Ernest Chang. And actually, the studio belongs to him. And it's super cool because right now we're sitting on two random stools. They don't match. But I think the best part of this place is that we're listening to This Is Khalid, which is Ernest's his playlist
right now.
His jam for his new art piece. But mostly is the fact is that we're surrounded by paintings, color swatches, all sorts of artistic equipment. What do you call that item there?
Easel.
An easel.
Like a lot of easels.
A lot of easels.
and tripods. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ernest, for allowing me to come here today and interrupt your artistic process, because I know you have a really cool production coming, and we'll talk about it later.
Sure.
But I think I just really wanted to connect with you today. So we're really excited to have you on Hashtag Podcast, Impact Podcast today.
Nice.
And one of the important things is that we wanted to capture stories of people who have meant a lot to our organization, Kelly Support Group. And I think your story captures the heart of a lot of young people that we work with. And we're so happy that you're willing to share with us today, and also all the listeners.
Thanks.
So maybe as a start, Ernest, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background?
Yeah, so I was born in the United States, in Florida, and then I moved here when I was like a kid, and I went to an international school, and then I basically have been flying back and forth from like the United States and like Asia ever since I was a child. So I've been multicultural all my life, and I've spoken English and Chinese all my life as well. So like both of those languages are very influential to my development. And then
So Ernest, you told me earlier when we were chatting in previous conversations that when you turned 14, it was a special year for you. Can you tell me more about what happened that year?
Yeah, so when I was 14, I came out to my friends and then my parents, and I guess then the whole school found out, 'cause that's just how it is. And then I was like bullied as soon as I mean people were kind of calling me a faggot anyways, like before, but
Right.
like it now is like for sure like about the right thing too. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then like it's weird that like people used to like shout down the stairs like all these things at me.
Did your teachers do anything? How did your teachers react?
I mean, when the teachers are there, they don't do anything. Like that's just how like school is, you know? It's just like people are like vigilant that like the authorities are there, but like when they're not around, they're just like really mean. I mean, I think like people just didn't understand it, and then the teachers were also like some of them were also like slightly homophobic. So like,
Did you have an encounter with somebody who was homophobic?
yeah, usually it was like in my gym class, and I remember like running in the sports hall, and then like somebody yelling at me, like pick it up, like fairy boy.
Was that a student?
No, it was a teacher. Like it was one of the sports teachers.
I see.
I don't think he knows that he called me that. Like I feel like he probably calls a lot of people that maybe, and he thinks it's fine. But like, I guess it's not okay to call anyone that. I don't know.
Yeah. And you said that you shared with your parents, right? How did your parents respond?
My parents were very like they wanted to, they're very in denial at first, mostly, and just kind of buried it, and was like, this is a phase, like you can just talk to like a psychiatrist or like a therapist about what you're going through, and I just really couldn't express like that this is kind of who I feel I am. Like I felt that I am, you know, but I wasn't like before. I just didn't understand what identity is, and then so I needed like other people to like affirm it for me. But then I mean now I'm older, so it's okay. But like I feel like when you're like that age, you need your parents to kind of help you and guide you like through your development and your like identity development. So
given that you were finding it really tough at school with peers and with teachers even, and your family's reaction, how did you end up coping with all of it all?
I went into like hiding, basically. I just didn't talk to like my parents and my family a lot. I started like hanging out with people who like were like the baddies of the school, like I don't know, like the people who would like bring cigarettes or something, and then like I would like start smoking, and then I would just start doing like mild drugs, and then and then it got into like more and more kind of deep areas with the drugs.
You mentioned that you actually had to go to rehab when you were 16.
Yeah.
Was that your first time?
That was because I was given like Xanax as like a anti-anxiety medication, and then I think like I was really like stressed about, I just like didn't want to exist, basically. I guess I don't know, like it was just really tough to like go to school every day and then like have people like question your existence, you know, like every day. I mean, I guess like that's how being bullied feels, you know, but it's like that's
Absolutely.
yeah, okay, but you know, yeah, and then so I basically just took like a lot of Xanax every day, like to numb these kind of feelings. Like I would just like sit in class and listen to everything the teacher is saying, so I can like not think about anything, because Xanax kind of makes you like focus on one thing and you don't have to think, but you're kind of out of it as well. So you, yeah, and I was really addicted to that. And then I was drinking as well with that, which was like really dangerous. And then I think it just alarms like everybody when when I told them that like I had this problem. And then and then that was the first time I went to an outpatient rehab, where I just did sports and like, detox and
So would you say that that was where your recovery journey, your true recovery, or do you think like what else? Like how long were you in rehab the first time, like the outpatient?
Oh yeah, like maybe for 2 months, and then I went back to school right after that.
Okay.
And then like but then I lost even more friends because people were like, I don't know, they just like didn't feel like they were my friends anymore. Like I don't know how, but it was just like a different situation after I went back. And then I had like 2 people who were my friends basically, and then so I had to like, you know, go online and find friends, and like I don't go out and find friends. And like when you go out and find friends, it's like harder to like filter and like understand like who is a good person, who's a bad person. I mean, not that, you know, there's good and bad, but it's just, like some people will offer you drugs, and then that's when like, you know, I was going out a lot, and then I was trying to be a photographer, and then so I hung out with a lot of people who are like in the fashion industry, and then that also like caused me to take like cocaine, and then like and then I was also like trying to find a place in the gay community, because I didn't feel like a part of myself was like accepted anywhere else. And then so I was just kind of feeling like I need to be with the people that are like me, you know. And like in the gay community, because people are so marginalized, they are also very addicted to drugs. Like a lot of times, like not all gay people, but a lot of people in Hong Kong who like are on these apps or like on, you know, like that you meet online, basically they like do like say they do talk about like all these things that are like about, you know, methamphetamines or like cocaine or like just a bunch of drugs that like you can get in Hong Kong very easily, and people are just they're too lost to stop. And I feel like that's like an epidemic here. Like a lot of times they have to hide who they are, and then like also they're taking the drugs which they're also hiding, and so they're hiding like way too many things that nobody can help them with. And
I know, like it's kind of crazy to kind of reflect on that, because you were only 16, 17 even at that time, right?
17,
and you were saying that you were using cocaine daily at that point.
I was using cocaine daily, but it wasn't even that much until like I graduated, and then I started like graduated high school, and then I started I just started like a internship, and then I did a lot of cocaine with like all the money.
Were you just doing it for fun, or were you?
I needed it by that point. Like I feel like all the years that I was doing it, like, you know, and telling myself that I was like fine and that I'm just like doing it for fun, like it got to a point where I was not doing it for fun anymore, and then I became like dependent. Like my kind of like equilibrium and also like just feeling normal depended on like having, you know, like a line in the morning or something, like, and then just as soon as you wake up, and and then I wouldn't sleep for like days. So and then that's when like things got really bad, and yeah, just everything kind of like collapsed, and there was like a few things that led to a rock bottom, and basically my family told me that I needed, and I'm really glad that my family did this. Like, I'm not like I'm saying they forced me, but I mean, I needed to be forced. I feel like I wouldn't have gone otherwise. But yeah, I was like in a lot of denial, and then yeah, they just like forced me to go to detox, and then it was just like a 10-day thing, and then I had to go to rehab after that. But it wasn't really as smooth as it sounds. It was like a very up and down journey. Like, I remember just like, because yeah, like I remember just sweating so much, like from withdrawals, and like, yeah, it was just a very tough time. Yeah.
And it sounds like, you know, I mean, when that was your last time that you actually went into rehab, and since then you actually have been sober.
Yeah.
How many years has it been now?
6 years.
Yay.
Thank you.
I guess, you know, my question is, you know, like in your recovery journey, was there anything that really inspired you and continues to inspire you daily, you know, to kind of continue on this road of healing and recovery?
Yeah, I think it's like when I was in rehab, like a friend of mine said to me, and we were doing like therapy together, and we'd have to do like art therapy, and I think like just what I understood is that, yeah, like we're all, I mean, I was really in denial, and I think like art helps me get rid of that denial and see like some beauty in the truth that I have, you know, like, and I feel like it's the only way that makes me see myself like purposeful. And I feel like purpose is a really, really important thing in recovery. Like, that's what's given me the strength, like every day, or like even like every week, just going to the gym. Like, that is just, I mean, I used to be in bed like all the time, and then I used to be so skinny, like I used to not eat for 7 days. Like, now I go to the gym 3 times a week, and I eat like proper meals, you know, like that's impossible like 6 years ago. And so
that's amazing.
Thank you. But yeah, like it took a while, but it just, yeah, it's like, it's just the hope of like, yeah, just some purpose that you are making a difference in this world.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I guess, you know, I also know that, you know, through when you were in high school, you know, you did encounter Kelly's support group. And I know it was brief, but, you know, when we were talking about what organizations like Kelly could be doing, you were telling me that you had some ideas. Could you share some of those ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, like, schools, like students and parents and teachers need to be more informed of the existence of like these things happening, like, and just sort of take away the whole stigma from like the young people who are doing it, at least. I mean,
doing it as in doing drugs.
Doing drugs, yeah. And just, I think it's like, it's really difficult to solve a problem when like everyone can't talk about it. And like the whole point of Kelly and programs like Kelly are for us to talk about it, like have an honest conversation and just have the support that like people ask for. And I think that's fair, you know, like that's really basic. And we give support to many other things like the military and stuff, but like we don't, yeah. And I feel like this is like a totally worth it thing to do, like, yeah.
I guess maybe, you know, now that you're in recovery and you've found a passion and you're finding your identity, you found your identity in so many things, you know, what would you say to a young person who is 14? Like, what would you have said to your younger self, or some of our young people who are maybe listening today, you know, what would you say to them if they were going through a tough patch?
Like a RuPaul moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess like I would tell anyone who's like a teenager right now, like, I know it sounds like I'm an old person now, like an adult, and I'm not that old, but it's like, I guess when you're like a teenager, like you think everyone who's not a teenager is old.
That's
and
true.
I think like you think that their opinions are not necessarily like right, but yeah, and I mean, yeah, like maybe they're not, but I think like if you ask for help, like, and these people are offering, like, you know, you should take it. And yeah, you shouldn't hide, like, you shouldn't have to hide all the parts of yourself. And I think like there are people out there who are willing to hear like parts of you that, you know, other people aren't, you know. Yeah.
Thanks so much for sharing your story. I know it mustn't be easy to be kind of thinking about the past, but also think it's pretty cool that, you know, you have stuff that you are living and thriving in, like this amazing studio that we're in right now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thanks, Guy.
Thank you so much for joining us today. A huge thanks, of course, goes to Sky and Ernest, especially a special dedication now to Ernest. It takes a lot of courage to open up like that in front of a microphone, and I really appreciate it that you did that, Ernest. If I can just address this to you now, I know that your story will help other people to find the strength to look for support and get help. And I'm really grateful for that. I also want to encourage everyone listening who wants to know more about the work that Kelly Support Group is doing to get in touch with their team. You can head over to kelly.org at KELY.org to find all the information and contact details. So please do reach out to them. And last but not least, I want to give you a little teaser for the next week. This is part of our series for Kelly Support Group. And next week, you will hear a making of the Kelly Support Group episodes. It was the very first time that Sky took the role of being a podcast host. And in an upcoming episode, also her team will host an episode here at #Impact Podcast. And knowing myself how hard it is to get started and to do these first recordings, it's so nerve-wracking and so many things to think of. And I just want to, be there for them, to cheer them on and support them in their storytelling adventures and endeavors. So this is really what these episodes are also all about, to give them the platform to get their story heard on #Impact. And so I went over to the Kelly office, the gorgeous, gorgeous Kelly office, to meet up with the team. And you will hear an episode behind the scenes in the making of next week. So please make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening right now so that you don't miss this episode. And as always, really happy if you want to get in touch. Reach out to me at hello@impact.com if you have any questions. Always here for you. Thanks so much for listening again, and I talk to you very soon. Bye.